Um, but obviously here his range is probably a little wider since we're right on the bubble and there's like a few players behind him. Um, but yeah, so the point is you can either look up those the proper ranges of hands to shove, or maybe just keep watching my videos. I've been trying to do a hyper turbo heads up video, which is a quick way to illustrate like proper heads up push fold scenarios, because you start with 10 big blinds right off the bat, and you don't have to wait to get down, to the very end of the tournament. And also, they're just fun tournaments to play. So, but every time I've tried to make one, I've won like maybe 2 or 3 matches, or maybe 4, and like either barely made the money. But it's like such a short video when I do that it's not worth like turning it in or showing it, because nothing is really learned from 2 or 3 matches, most of which only last like 3 to 4 hands or less. So, so the point is, I'm gonna keep trying to make one of those videos so I could talk about heads up push folding ranges, and you'll get a better, at least intuitive sense of the ranges to shove and call with. But I'm gonna wait for me to. I'll probably wait until I actually win one, which it doesn't. Those things, they go so fast. I can record the whole thing, and so not necessarily win one, but get down to like maybe the top 4 at least. And most of the ones that I play have around like between like 150 to 250 players. So you're usually in the money after you've won 3 or 4 matches, and then you have to win like 4 more to win the whole thing, probably approximately. So it usually only lasts 8 matches, but which is funny to think about. You think, oh, you only have to win 8 matches to win the whole tournament, but which is kind of cool to think about. It doesn't seem like it would be that hard, but it's kind of like winning 8, or say it's kind of like having a coin flip come up in your favor 8 times in a row, like flipping heads 8 times in a row. And if you've ever tried to flip a coin 8 times in a row, it almost never comes up heads that many times in a row. Obviously, you would think your chances are slightly better in the heads up hyper turbo, because there are players who don't know what they're doing and aren't shoving and calling with the proper ranges, so you'll have a slight advantage on them. But yeah, it looks like we're in the money. Which is true. So, but it's more like flipping a coin 8 times in a row that's very slightly weighted in your favor, like like it lands on heads 51% of the time or something, rather than 50-50. Because even shoving and calling the appropriate ranges, it does give you an edge over your opponent if they aren't doing the correct ranges, but it's still a fairly negligible edge unless they're making really big mistakes, like like folding an ace on the button, or not calling with an ace, or something really extremely obvious. In which case you could obviously like just smash their heads and crush them, if there were any players like that. But most players realize that at least that they have to shove and call with a fairly wide range, which if that's all they know, even if they don't know the exact types of hands that they're supposed to be shoving heads up, it's still they still know enough that you're not going to have a huge edge over them in a heads up hyper turbo format. You're going to have a pretty small edge over them, which is why the rake in those things is like tiny. Like in the I mostly play the $100 one, and it's a $2 rake on a $100 buy-in, because they know, like, if it was a normal size rake, no one would play it, because you're just basically paying money to the house only. Where with the $2 rake, you might be able to still eke out a profit in the long run. Okay, so that's a long discussion about heads up hyper turbos for some reason. Sorry about that. And it looks like we're down to 340 players, and I'll pause it and I'll be back. Alright, y'all. I don't know what I'm going to do with this queen jack off. The stacks are pretty awkward for raise folding. I mean, if I do raise, I would obviously fold to a reshove, but I mean, what do I do if I raise and this guy shoves? I just puke. Hopefully this guy just crams, so we don't have to contemplate opening this. And we're fairly early position, so just open folding is okay. But yeah, but I mean, you have to start trying to pick up some blinds at some point. And this is a decent spot to do it, but it's not great. I'm just going to fold. So yeah, it's kind of, this tournament's been slightly frustrating because I mean I lost that absolutely the queen jack. Yeah, I think even if I open from, well, then of course I would flop the queen. So if I had opened from here, he probably folds and he probably shoves, and I probably puke call against him and win a pretty big pot. So sigh. But I would have gotten it in bad technically. So, but I don't know. But anyways, like I was saying, this tournament's been, I've kind of gotten screwed a little bit. Not screwed. I mean, I lost the flip, but it was a gigantic flip for a huge stack, and then I didn't get any action with my aces when I reshoved 20x, which is kind of a bad beat too, in a way. So yeah, I've been pretty unfortunate. Even though we did at least make the money. There's 330 left. Money doesn't really start to get too significant until you're getting close to the final table, though. So still got quite a ways to go. But if we do double our stack, we'll have over average. So we're definitely not dead in the water by any means. Just got to win one hand and then start applying pressure after that, picking up blinds and such. Because if I had a bigger stack, I would have, for example, probably opened the queen jack if it wasn't such a significant portion of my stack to open. And in which case I would have, and if I had the bigger stack, I would have been comfortable calling this guy's tiny reshove, with my queen jack. And so I would have got it in and I would have won, and then I would have built my stack even more. But first I've got to get that double up in before I can start doing things like that. Sick. I mean, it's pretty much a cooler, but this guy probably hasn't been 3-bet. Well, I don't know. He was only here 15 hands, and now we're down to 13 big blinds. I think it's going to skip right to my big blind. Yeah, or it's on my big blind. Gross. So now we're down to push or fold stack. 3-bet largish on, like, how deep are these guys? Okay, so they had to be at about 20x effect, but not all in with queen. Clear. Oh, this sucks. We're gonna be forced to call this guy here with what's probably not the best hand, but we're drawing live, so that's good. That's not a good start though. Pair me. Ugh. Nice hand, sir. But yeah, that's a snap call, obviously, and another unfortunate incident. So hopefully it folds to us here. We'll cram and he won't call. Or he will call and we'll get there, but now we'll just fold. So yeah. This guy, if this guy's good, which I don't know if he is, then his flatting range, he's only got like 23 big blinds. His flatting range should be pretty strong, but he doesn't. So yeah, we'll be folding this. This will probably be going with regardless. This guy's been opening quite a bit. I don't know if I would. I mean, on only 10 big blinds, I think I have to. Yeah, now at this point, a middle position opener, I'd go with it no matter what. All right, that's not the worst outcome. See what happens. If anyone opens, clearly we'll be folding. We've gone up a couple pay steps at this point. I guess they go up pretty quick. Yeah, only every 18 players, which go pretty quick at this stage. 2400 in the middle. Yeah, okay, that makes it easy. Okay, 2400 in the middle. That would be 20% increase to our stack if we cram and don't get called. And we have the jack and the 10 suited, which is kind of sexy. And window blinds go up. Still have 10 minutes. Yeah, I'm just going to cram it. 12 big blinds is pretty sketchy. Not the best stack for doing it. Because I'm risking too much to win, not quite enough. I do increase my stack by 20% when I get folds, which is fairly big, but possibly not big enough for Jack 10 suited. But it worked. So it's kind of It's not. It's kind of a ick spot. I don't want to just fold. I want to pick up some chips and try to get back into contention. So that's what I did, and hopefully I can keep picking up chips. We still haven't doubled our stack yet, or double our buy-in. Bought in for 55, and we've only cashed for 90 so far. Let's see, 10 ball. I didn't need it. 5 or 4 were the action cards. Yeah, yeah, in early position now and having 15 big blinds almost. This is just a fold. So, I'll at least be up monies on the day, which is good.